right, so I'm thrilled to be here with the founders of the Cariberse, Tommy and Ava. We'll be chatting about their new project, Powerful, and how they're blending Caribbean culture with groundbreaking digital art and how it is taking on new life on the Cardano blockchain. Can you give us a little bit of a backstory about where you started with all of this?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having us here, first of all. And yeah, my name is Tammy Hadid, and I'm an audiovisual artist from Caracas, Venezuela. I've been working on digital art for 22 years now, and before that, I just did like traditional art on myself, like any teenager. And for myself, animation has been a way to express a lot of his like stories that I want to tell, but without like having to write them down. It's just like soft storytelling and letting people to see details in my day-to-day life and just like sharing Caribbean culture through these experiences that are so personal, but at the same time are shared between all of the people that have grown up in the same environment. So yeah, that's pretty much what I talk about in my art. I also touch a lot on identity because I have been a migrant, like a soft migrant. I'm not always on the road, but I have moved a lot and changed my surroundings a lot. And I think that ignites a search for identity and a search for, I don't know, to find myself in a place that I can call home or a group that I can call family. So it really is something that it's always present in my work. It is always about like the surroundings that were close to me when I was growing up or in vacations. And at the same time, it's always like a search for portraying the type of person that I am in that sense, recognizing myself and also validating myself.
I think that identity was always a thing that kind of passed through my head as to I also moved a lot. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela as well. And I moved from a really young age to Connecticut, the United States. So in that process, I think that a lot of things happen with identity and with kind of getting into the sense of you're kind of like an in-betweener, right? Like you're not this, you're not that, but you're kind of all of it at the same time. And sometimes that can feel like a separation. But I think in that process, I learned that there's so many people who have lived that. And I think that meeting Tommy was definitely one of those things where I felt like, oh, I'm not alone. Like we have this shared experience. And art was a way to understand myself as I still am. That's why it's like my main thing is like Ava Universe, because it's like the art of your universe, the art of like experiencing yourself through art and that way of communicating. Yeah, I think in that process, I kind of, from a young age, I really liked art, but in the entire process of moving and stuff, I got separated from it, or I kind of like pushed it away and decided to go a little bit back to my roots, like bought a book, but like a notebook and used it as a diary. And I think that's where it all really started for me, where I like put myself some headphones at night, like late at night, and you're just like, yeah, wondering who you are and kind of just letting everything flow through me without me having to really write it down. It was more of like colors. And right then I knew that I needed to keep like exploring this for my own benefit. So I was like, I want to get better at illustration. I always liked animation. I always liked like 2000s cartoons. In that process, I was like looking at some, like I don't even want to say like mentors, but just like a guidance. I was like, I don't know what to do, like so many paths. And in that, my friend sent me Chama's Instagram. I was like, I want to learn how to like express myself like that. So she had a Patreon and I joined, and
I have a huge passion for building communities, not so much for maintaining them. It's more like I love teaching stuff and just doing like these moments of sharing with people. But I'm at the end of the day, I'm an artist, and I'm not in my full energy to just be connecting with people. I most connect to myself like most of the time and just be on my own. So having a Patreon was a challenge. It was amazing because I could connect with a lot of people that were learning and were like in this energy of building with me. And Ava was one between like 12 people that were in the Patreon, like actively participating in everything. And at some point, she came into my mind when I asked like myself, who would be a cool person to tell, like, I need help in maintaining this. I need help in like making this bigger. What we actually did was keep being friends. We kept being friends. We kept like talking. We did accompany to each other through the whole journey of getting into NFTs and Web3. And then when I started the Ubodega project, which is now one of our OG projects, the project did really well, and it was like super community driven, and I got again to the same point that I need help. But by that moment, I already knew all of the creativity and all of the marketing knowledge that Ava had also. So it was just so fun to make a team out of it, and that started it all. Like then we did Powerful together, and then we co-created the Cariberse, and now we're here.
And I want to touch on briefly on both of your portfolios. Tammy, I think it was last week, we saw someone tweeted your cover art for Young Miko was showcased on Jimmy Fallon. And yeah. I thought that was really cool. You know, you've done cool stuff for J Balvin. I think you said Disney.
Well, my portfolio is filled with stuff that I have done for myself. And there's stuff that I have done for artists. So I would separate them in those two categories, because if you put them to compete, what I do for myself is always gonna win. Like what I do for myself is my favorite, but my favorite, it's always gonna be like the last one that I have done, because it's always a great opportunity to just put all of the skills to work and all of the knowledge that I have gathered since the last project to put it into work to the next one. And Young Miko's was my latest, and it was amazing. It was just amazing to work with her, because she already had like amazing ideas and pretty clear ideas on what she wanted. And she was looking for my style. So it was a collaboration, and that made it so much easier, and since it was my style. And I think what made that project amazing, or why I see that is amazing on my portfolio, is because I got to work with a lot of people that were feeding their ideas and putting their minds to work in a collaboration. Her fan base is huge, like super huge, and it's filled with girls that are willing to do anything for her. So they would spend like their own money to paint on walls, like the arts that we did for the album, or they can spend like a ton of time editing videos that are supposed to promote the album. But this is all for her to see, like to see them and to acknowledge that these are the bases of the community that she has built. And well, there's a reason that it is so big, and it's because she does acknowledge the people that are like on the fan base. So it has been amazing to have the fan base getting back to me about the album and just hyping up. Sometimes artists, when they get the work done, like musical artists, when they get the work done, they don't acknowledge farther from that they have worked with you. Like treat it as an illustrator job or something that doesn't have your name in it. But since the beginning, she did acknowledge the collaboration in this because it's my style, like it's clearly my style, and she was looking for that. So when the album was out, people knew that I was in it, and I don't know, it was just like so cool. And the Jimmy Fallon thing, that those are the things that I wouldn't expect to happen. Like I wasn't clear. I didn't have like clearness in my mind that this was the reach that was going to have the art, or the impact that the art was going to have on people. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to work with people that already have like a reach. And with J Balvin, it was the same. And when J Balvin came out, that was the best work at that moment. So it's always gonna be the latest, or I'm gonna try to make the latest the best.
So yeah, over to Ava. What is a favorite highlight of your portfolio?
And I gotta say, my favorite one was like the J Balvin, because it was completely unexpected for me. It was like, I remember the day and I remember what I wore, because I remember that day I had like some shoes that, it's like they're for a special occasion. And like the shoes are just sitting there. Like I was like, it's going to be for an interview. And I'm like, what interview? Like, what are you talking about? Like that day I got so mad at myself. I was like, what the hell are you waiting for to put these shoes on? Today's the day. Like, stop waiting. Like, like, look at that. Like, stop waiting for it to be the moment. Like, today's the moment. Today you wear your shoes. They're like super cool heels. And I was like, yeah. So we went to one of my friend's house that had a party. And I like got in with my shoes and I was like feeling myself. And I was like, damn, I'm killing it. And I get I see my phone blowing up. And I'm like, okay, like, what's up? And I see Tommy's just like, Ukari was just like, look at this, like, stop doing whatever you're doing, like, call me right now. And I was like, wait, what's going on? And she sends me that we had like a collaborative like visualizer that we all did like months ago. And she's sending that to the VJs for it to be like, okay, out of 5 visualizers that I've sent you, like, do whatever you want. And she texts me, like, we're talking, and she's like, they chose the one that like there's like a bunch of your visuals in it, and like they're gonna remix them. And I kind of was like, what do you mean? Like I'm gonna be with J Balvin? Like I was like,
I didn't tell her before because I knew she was in that state of mind that she wasn't doing enough and she wasn't worth it. But at that moment, I know she was like super like depressed around her art, and I didn't want her to blow that up. So, so I waited until the last moment to know if they were using that visualizer, and yeah.
And then we didn't know, right? Like, you send in the work, but you actually don't know if they're gonna use it, if they're not gonna use it. So imagine she's like hyping me up, and then I'm like expecting it to happen, and it doesn't happen, and that kind of like hits hard. So I feel like that was my favorite, because it hit me like, this is what you should be like aiming for. This is like your reality that you're living right now. And even though sometimes, like, I was like looking for opportunities anywhere, like, I'll do it for whatever for free, like I'll just put it in, like, please, just begging people to like look at what am I doing. And like it wasn't happening at that moment, and now I get why. But in that moment I kind of was like, am I not enough? Like just looking for whatever reason. So when I finally let that go, I put the shoes on and I was like, I'm just gonna enjoy my life. Like, like there's so much pressure around it. And she came in with the news. It was crazy to me, because I love J Balvin. Like, I love the VJs that were working with J Balvin. Like, Chan was like doing some characters and animations for it too. And like seeing my name at the end of the credits, I was like, damn, that's me.
Let's talk about Powerful. It was originally known as Powerful Mamacitas. Do you mind giving us like an overview of what Powerful Mamacitas is and why the rebrand to Powerful?
Yeah. Powerful Mamacitas started as a concept for my art in 2018. I have a friend who's super amazing with words, and I told her that I wanted to brand this style as something that would say that I'm Latin, but also that I'm portraying these baddies. So Mamacitas is actually baddies in that sense. I was working on commissions back then, and a lot of the people that I would get from this service or asking for this service were people in Europe or in the United States. And these were either regular people, like any people, or they were like the partners, the boyfriends mostly, that would get a powerful Mamacita version of their girlfriends for a gift or something like that. And there were other times that I would get the request from an artist or another woman who was feeling like she wasn't feeling her power, and those were the emails that are really, like, I don't know, that I think really gave me a sense of service beyond being doing a portrait, because there were stories that were so dark and so deep, and these people like confidentially told me what brought them to me, like I don't know, stuff as heavy as my partner is abusive to me, and I want to leave, but I don't feel like I have the power to leave. But I know if I get drawn by you, I'm gonna see myself like the way you see other people, and you're gonna see me the power that I need to live. Like the power was already in there, but it's just as any image that you put your energy into, that you, maybe if you pray to something, you're putting your energy towards something that is gonna give it back to you. And I think the portrait of these people gave in a sense, the same service, to be just the image that God would give back to you the energy that you already possess to do whatever. And there were people telling me like, you made me look so powerful, and that's why I wanted to start the name of the concept as Powerful, and then it turned it into Powerful Mamacitas. At some point, I got into NFTs, and I was already working with Ava doing the bodega stuff. And it was all about, like, if you have seen a bodega in your life, it's all about like clutter, and like cute clutter with a lot of stuff and just like cats in it. And it was all about that. It was a way for me to just draw cute stuff. But at some point I started to feel like I want to draw women again. I love drawing like women with attitude and like with strength in their face and with the beauty that I think it's beautiful. I see everyone beautiful, but of course I have like a specific taste in what people wear or how they style themselves. So I told Ava, like, I need to draw women again, but I don't want to leave everything that we have built together. And I want us to find a way to build this and then see how it fits and the whole thing that we're building, and not just have like two projects separated. And at that moment, like the Cariberse started because it was a way to have like an umbrella brand that would hold the bodega theme, but also these women theme that we didn't know at that time. But when we started developing the project, they turned into the first deity system of the Cariberse, and it really made sense for us. I got goosebumps when I talk about it. Like, all of these women are actually like goddesses, and we call them mamacitas on the locals, but it's actually that like the deity system of the Cariberse, and each of them represent an energy. And we started doing that. Like I gather all of my favorite characters till that date, and there are 45 one-on-ones hand-drawn, and a lot of them were airdropped to our most like our top collectors on Tezos with the bodega theme. So we took the opportunity right there to just introduce these people to the other concept.
Mhm.
And all of the other ones were sold, and we sold out the same day on Ethereum. And it was our first launch on Ethereum. We were coming from Tezos, so that was our first dive into being multi-chain and just get ourselves to be known regardless of the blockchain. And the people that connected with us through this project, they were most of them creatives also, like musicians or artists in some sort. And that makes it even like more authentic in what support is, because these are not flippers. These are people that have earned money through their art and have invested in our art to make it. So it was clear to us that this creative economy was possible, and a percentage of what we got from those first mints, we directed it to do in real life experiences as parties, and we shared those parties URL through Discord. So it really was an opportunity for us to do the things that we wanted also, and to support causes as cleaning beaches, or I always say bad beaches. I'm sorry if it's coming across as beaches. It's beaches. I don't know the difference. Like,
It's okay.
I cannot speak the difference between playa and perras.
You're like bad bitches, and I'm like,
All good. I think I knew where you were headed, and you clarified that.
but yeah, we clean like bodies of water that are surrounded by sand. and yeah, it was just amazing to bring that concept up, and just from there building the whole system that is supporting right now the soft storytelling of the Cariberse. All of our drops pass through a whole filter of astrology before their launch. Like, is it good to make it on this date? Like, let's see the birth chart of the project. Let's see the birth chart of this association, which happened with the Soto. And yeah, we decided to rebrand it as Powerful just recently, and I want to let Ava to talk about it.
so yeah, we rebranded to Powerful because we kind of, we went back to the origin, which is, I think it's really interesting. But because we want Powerful, and especially since Powerful Mamacita was a thing in like Web3, we were always focused on like coming across as this is feminine energy. Like, we all have feminine energy, and that was like a really important message for us to send. And we started like getting like really into, okay, what are like our core values, as like a project that's just Powerful. And we came into the conclusion that like mindfulness, beauty, and like courage were like 3 words that like really, really inspired us. If you only thought about it as like the 4 elements as to water, earth, air, and fire, how could this look in the Cariberse? And like, how could we keep building this story? Or like bringing that digital identity into yourself. Like, since I got my airdrop from Powerful, I haven't changed it. And I don't think I will for like a really long time, because I feel like so deeply connected to it.
Okay, so after like a year of building your communities like on Ethereum and Tezos, like you mentioned, now you're planning to launch on Cardano. How did that, come about? And maybe Grancha would like to step in here.
Well, we met the Caribe team through Disco. We commissioned them to help us design the Silk Toad, and from my initial concepts, they sort of took it and took it into a place that I was amazed at, and I was really shocked and proud that, and impressed that like what they delivered on all the visual art assets that built the Silk Toad were created so efficiently and like so thoughtfully and with so much love and like such an ease to be able to communicate our ideas together. And it was just, it blew me away. So we said, let's work together a little deeper. Like,
Yeah, it was amazing since the beginning. We already had like I already have like a good relationship with them, with Grancho and with Papo, because they were the first selectors of my collaborations with Disco Solaris. For a brief moment, I was one of the invited artists in the team. And they were always like hyping me up with coming into Cardano and doing stuff together. But we were, Ava and I, working on whatever Cariberse, whatever powerful, like it was all about that. And we didn't have like that much time.
You know, I wasn't part of, like, I didn't know anything about Cardano. It was Tammy, the first person that like brought into my attention, like, look at this project, look at this code, like look at what the community is building, look at the stories people are engaging with. And, you know, with like the Cariberse like community, it's like all creatives who like have their own thing, you know, we're kind of like individuals in a collective that we're all like in our journey to find our things. So it was like so admiring to see like a blockchain and a community that we're so into like give, you know, how can we open up this project that, you know, we're giving the idea about identity, we're giving a lot about like this exploration on emotions and a lot about like trust, I think, on yourself, and like kind of like putting a mirror on your face and be like, look how fun, like how powerful you are, like look at the things like you can make or do or whatever, you know, like you're the creator of your reality. And how would that look like if the Cardano community like came in and like they pitch in like their own energy and their own things onto us, and to see if, like how could, you know, like that chemistry could work. Meeting Rancho and Papo was just like that other push that we needed to be like, we can expand this project. We always knew it was like a really like amazing thing we had been building. And coming into Silk Toad is just being like the four of us. Like I feel like we're like the four elements, like we're just the team, and each of us brings like a unique perspective into the Silk Toad, into Powerful.
You know, I think I overheard or read somewhere that it's not just, you know, your typical avatar project. You guys are trying to, you know, specifically distinguish Powerful as one of the best like types of full-bodied avatars. And also you're bringing the baddest mamacitas to Cardano. So is there like a little elevator pitch? I don't know. I'm throwing this question out there of, you know, what Cardano can expect from maybe like the look or what this experience is all going to embody, especially with the Silk Toad.
It has 3 body types, 4 face shapes, and all of the traits come from these original mamacitas and from other element that we are bringing in, which is seed. So it's fire, water, earth, and seed. And between all of these first traits, we have at least like 700 features that are distinctive, and the possibility of combinations when you have 3 body types and 4 face shapes makes it like a million combinations possible, even more. What we want to bring here, like in a technical way, it's just a dressing game. It's a dressing game based on blockchain, and it's on the theoretical and narrative aspect of this is getting like the daughters of the first mamacitas that we had. We had these deities that were like a full potential of an energy, like the unit of an energy. And when you get now a mamacita through the silk toad, you're gonna get a split of this energy. You're gonna get a representation of a mixture of all of these energies. If you're lucky enough, since we are on the blockchain, we still want to bring rarity to it. So you're still going to be able to get a one-on-one, which would be the original mamacitas as we know them, but with a full body. And this is going to bring like the fun of having this game or this bet that for a low price, you're going to get like a regular mamacita, or you're going to get one of these like legendary OG ones. From there, the actual dressing game happens in the dressing room, and happens when you mint random trades, or you go to the marketplace and mint or buy already minted trades from the original store, which is the Silk Toad at this moment. We want to keep building the features, the social features that the Silk Toad is capable of having. When we designed the Silk Toad, we made proposals that were aiming to bring community together and to bring creatives into the Silk Toad to earn money with us. So it's not just like investing in us and getting features back. It's us investing in these features for you to be able to create your own trades and sell them on the platform. For us, it's more like a crowdfunding type of thing, where we want to keep building towards having something that it's worth more for the community for what they can build in there, than from always having to hype up the project and just bringing people in the pyramid, you know. Like, since we haven't given out a roadmap for the Cariberse, because also technology is always changing. I mean, like a year ago, we were buying land for the metaverse, right? Buying land on the internet was a thing. You wouldn't do that right now, right? It's you know, it's not. The hype
I own a lot of real estate in the metaverse, none in real life, but
and we were talking about like building our own metaverse, and those ideas haven't gone anywhere. It's just that sometimes you have an idea and technology hasn't catched up with your idea. And when it does, your idea has already transmuted into something else. And since we are creatives, we don't want to build a jail around ourselves and our ideas. For the longest time, we have been building this in a time that sometimes people would think is slow. But for us, it's almost like steady slow. Like we keep building, but we build in a way that allow us to see where the market is going and what the trends are, and just to follow our own intuition towards what we want to build. We want to bring quality. That's something that it's always on the top of our lists, like bring quality. So what we're bringing right now, it's the first launch of many trades that we're going to be launching like every or so months. And that is going to be until with the earnings, we're able to build this other side of the platform where people can build their own trades and mint them also. And I think it's going to be just so much fun to have people joining as stylists, as collaborators, as illustrators, as collectors, as traders. Like there's space for everyone to join in. I don't know, it's just the possibilities are actually endless if we think that we're going to be building with so many people that are already creative. So hopefully the game is going to enable us to build more and make this like the first fashion district for the Cardano community, like the whole community, not just us.
It's a pretty robust platform that allows for a lot of customization, and there are several different utilities that can come with the Silk Toad. First of all, if you go to silktoad.io, the first thing you should do is hit play on the radio and go to the visualizer, and you can pick between the dragon and the eyes in the cave and the kaleidoscope, which is my favorite. And so you just get a taste of like, we're not trying to sell you anything. Just come enjoy. There's a great playlist, and there's like this really relaxing visualizer that will expand to the whole screen. Then you can mint, you'll be able to mint naked bodies. You'll be able to mint all the different traits. You can go to the dressing room then and try on the different traits and lock them up and unlock them. But we also soon have a marketplace that will allow you to sort of try on things in the dressing room before you buy them, which is kind of unique to the Silk Toad. It makes sense for the projects that we offer and that we host. And there's also sort of a rudimentary chat that is very primitive at the moment, but it shows that the concept that we want to see, right? And I think that working with this team, bringing ideas from other blockchains is super cool, because we have diverse like observations of what's happening. Like here on Cardano, I'm mostly pay attention to my friends on Cardano here, and like Viva is a good friend of mine, and he and Nemo with the Omen project have done some really, really interesting things, and I think that they've been very successful doing them. And so we have the capability at the Toad to do all the things that they've done, and likely we'll take some of those ideas and make them our own. But also, like, these ladies have done a lot on the social platforms, Farcaster, Warpcast, stuff like that, where it's like those ideas are brewing within them and their minds. And so that we're also planning a lot of that infrastructure to be built at the Silk Toad as well. So, it's a bubbling cauldron of ideas that we're really excited about, and like, and Powerful is kind of the first Silk Toad native project. Like, there's this concept that we have been talking about not too long ago about art styles and anime and Cal art style, if you've ever heard of that. And then, but this is different than those. This is what we've coined Caribe style. And it's upon first glance, you see it very clearly in the Powerful collection and in the bodega, all in the Cariberse, right? It all has a very similar visual temperature, color scheme, style, energy. But then, like, the deeper you go, the more you find the ties throughout the whole world, like of what this style actually is inspired by, and the historical like foundations of what is here today. And I bring this up partially because I'm like you might call me like an ethnomusicologist, maybe. Like I am super interested in funky world music from all over the world. And so, like, working with a team that is self-proclaimed the Cariberse was super exciting to me, because over the past 10 years or something, my interest in music started in Africa and then went all over Asia. And then it sort of later on, I started getting really excited about, in particular, Caribbean music and music from like the French Antilles, Zouk, Beguine, Latin jazz, stuff like that. Like, there's it's just such a diverse and largely unexplored for the global world art and cultural movement. And so it's exciting to be part of something that's working to coagulate all those concepts, like sort of bring them all into this presentation, into this like style, this Caribe style, and work towards like showing those bridges, like creating those pins on the wall, right? Like the crazy It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia guy with like the crazy pins all over the board, like that. And that's my mind to some degree, because I know that they all actually, there is a place for all these thousands of similar artists and similar musical styles, and so it's there, exactly, it's that's Caribe style. And what I want it to be is something that people, when you say Caribe, people understand it like they understand anime, because to me the concepts are similar in gravity, really. And one has elevated to a sort of an international, super common thing, and the other one has not yet. And I think that it can. And so that's what we're here. That's sort of a mission that we have, is like bringing this all to the forefront.
And everything at the mean point of things is working like perfectly. If we were like to launch tomorrow, we would be ready in those terms. But we want to like have all of the other numbers ready for the roadmap, to have like a purpose to whatever we earn with this project, and do the things that we already said that we want to build. And also we're like just fixing things of like perfectionist things.
There's cool things we can highlight too about this collection that we aim to sort of like, spend a little bit of time with each element perhaps, and like kind of like as we're starting to mint, we sort of focus on like, these are the elements, this is the water element, and these are some of the like qualities of that within the collection. Here's the fire element, and these are the seeds, this is the seed. And what does that mean to the Cariberse? What does that mean to the community? What does that mean to the collection? What does that mean to the magic that's happening? Right. So there's a lot to sort of digest as we're minting even. So we still have a little bit of finalizing like exactly how those are going to roll out. But like she said, like we are on pre-prod, mamacitas are flying through the blockchain, right? So like we're very close. I will say I can't imagine not minting in June. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
I mean, I was definitely very inspired by the creativity and the innovation that's brewing in the Cariberse and Powerful. So to the audience, go follow Powerful, join their Discord, go follow their individual platforms, as well as the Silk Toad. And you can follow Grancho too. He's a great guy. I appreciate you all. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll chat soon.